The music licensing world can seem like an exclusive club. The only way in seems to be knowing the right people, attending networking events or conferences, paying for expensive courses or memberships, or trying to track down an elusive music supervisor. But the truth is, it's not as tough as it sounds. You don't really need any of that stuff to get started in music licensing. In fact, you can do it without any connections, without any upfront money, and without even leaving your studio. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started in sync licensing in 5 easy steps. Before we get into the video, I want to tell you about Supertape. Supertape is a website builder specifically for bands and musicians that automatically keeps your music, your merch, your videos, and your tour dates up to date. It's fast, affordable, and a huge upgrade to your boring link in bio. Check us out at supertape.com. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, quick reality check. Getting your music into sync does require some skills. You've got to be confident in your songwriting, musicianship, and production, meaning recording, mixing, and even some basic mastering. Because the margins in this industry, especially as you're starting out, really don't allow for paying anyone else to do the work. And it's filled with talented producers, so it's got to be good. Ask yourself this question: am I able to produce a polished, professional track all on my own? If you're not quite there yet, that's okay. Keep watching. I'll be sharing some information that can help you get there. But if you answered yes, you should be ready to dive into the world of sync licensing. Before we get to the steps, we should probably review some basics so we can start to make sense of the terminology and concepts. And a little bit of a warning here, the music licensing world is big and messy with all sorts of strategies and business models. I've been doing this for years and I still find it confusing at times. And unfortunately, there are a fair share of bad apples out there looking to take advantage of us musicians. But with a solid understanding of the basics, you'll be able to identify real opportunities and steer clear of the shady deals. Okay, so let's get clear on what we actually call this industry. You might hear it referred to by a bunch of different names: sync, library, stock, production, queue, or even a few others depending on context or someone's personal preference. Although there are some distinctions, they all pretty much refer to the same thing: music for media. Like TV, film, video games, commercials, YouTube videos, podcasts, and online content. Here's some other vocabulary that's important to understand. Sync or synchronization refers to the process of aligning music with media. A license or licensing is the legal permission to use a piece of music in a specific context, like a film or a commercial. Performance rights organizations, or PROs, are the entities that ensure that songwriters and publishers get paid royalties when their music is performed publicly. PROs track your music's usage, collect payments on your behalf, and pay out royalties quarterly. In the US, you can choose between ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC. Outside of the US, some examples include PRS for music in the UK and SOCAN in Canada. Sync fees are the upfront payments made for using your music in a project. The amounts can vary wildly depending on what they're using the music for. Royalties are payments made whenever your music generates revenue, like from a broadcast or streaming. Royalty-free means a buyer pays a one-time fee, a sync fee, instead of paying ongoing royalties. Splits refer to how royalties and sync fees are divided. This includes the writer's split for the songwriters and the publisher's split for those handling the business side, like licensing and placements. Another important concept in the sync industry is exclusive versus non-exclusive. With exclusive deals, you grant the rights to license your music to one party only, often a sync agency or a music library, and these deals tend to come with higher sync payments. Non-exclusive deals allow your music to be licensed by multiple parties, offering more flexibility but usually lower payments. Understanding these concepts is crucial because it'll help you interpret the business models of the companies you work with. For example, a company might offer a non-exclusive, royalty-free deal, which means that you will receive a one-time sync fee every time they license the song, but no royalties. But you're also welcome to license that song with other libraries. Okay, so now that we understand the basics, let's move on to the 5 steps. Step 1, get registered with a PRO. I mentioned this earlier, but it's a key first step. In order to get paid royalties, you need to be registered with a PRO. They track your music's performance, collect royalties, and ensure you get paid. Registration is straightforward and can be done online, and some charge a one-time fee and some charge an annual fee. If you decide to go with a royalty-free model, you can, but shouldn't skip this step. Step 2, select a model. As I mentioned earlier, there are a variety of sync models, but for the sake of simplicity, I've broken them down into 3 main categories or tiers, and I've based them on entry-level, music expectations, and payment structures. First are the royalty-free and non-exclusive sites. Platforms like TuneFruit, Pond5, and Epidemic Sound are great places to start. They're usually easier to get into and don't always require exclusive rights, which means that you could submit your tracks to multiple platforms. The payouts tend to be lower and you won't get royalties, but it's a great way to test the waters and try out some different types of tracks. Next up are the boutique libraries. Some examples are Amphibia Zoo, West One, Music Bed, Marmoset, and 5 Alarm Music. These platforms are more selective and require higher quality professional tracks. They tend to pay higher sync fees and royalties, but they demand exclusivity, which means that you can't license your tracks somewhere else. Finally, there are the major agencies like Universal Music Publishing, Warner Chappell, and APM. These platforms work with top-tier music and pay well, but they're harder to break into. They may even assign a producer or a mixer and offer up access to recording studios and musicians just to help you deliver your best work. And some even pay upfront buyout fees. Step 3, write the music. When choosing a genre for sync, it's important to pick something that you're comfortable with. A good question to ask yourself is, would I show up to a gig and play this? It's also a good idea to pick a type of music that people want or need, and there are a couple ways to research this. 1, watch TV. Listen to the music that's being used for the shows and the commercials. Or 2, go to the sync libraries and listen to what they're putting out. I'd love to make a video going a little bit deeper on how I write a track for sync. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. But for now, here's a quick list of things to keep in mind. Tracks should usually be between 2.5 and 3 minutes long. They should build over time, adding something new or changing every 4 to 8 bars. Use your ears and your gut for this. Vocals are usually considered a plus, but keep the lyrics universal and timeless. Keep the mood consistent. Don't start off happy and then move to sad, unless that's something they're asking for. Play to a click and keep it tight. Make sure all the instruments, including the vocals, are in tune. End each track with a hit, not a fade out. Overall, think about each track as a playground for editors. Give them lots to choose from within one track. Step 4, research your libraries. So you've registered with a PRO, you've identified a library model, and you've written some music. Now it's time to figure out who to send it to. As an example, let's say that I've decided to submit some tracks to some non-exclusive royalty-free sites. The first thing I need to do is create a list of those types of sites. I'll be including a short list of libraries in the comments section below, but it's really easy to do the research on your own. Simply search for royalty-free music and you'll get pages of libraries to submit to. You'll notice right away that these sites are geared towards people looking to license music, so the submission forms can sometimes be a challenge to find. If that's the case, just search the library's name and submit music, and you should be able to find it. Step 5, submit your music. So now it's time to submit your tracks. It's also a good idea to have a few things on hand for the submission, although I haven't seen much consistency across the different platforms. But here are some basics. Have a short bio ready to go. Have your songs on a private streaming profile like SoundCloud or Bandcamp. Have a downloadable, full resolution, ready to go tracks in a Dropbox or Google Drive. Have your links to your socials on hand. And of course, be sure to follow each library's submission guidelines carefully. From there, be patient, it may take time to hear back. The submission portal will usually let you know what the next steps are and whether it's okay to follow up or not. Some final thoughts here. This industry requires so much patience. We are truly playing the long game here. It will take a while to start seeing results. Some say it takes up to 18 months just to start seeing royalties. But the positive side is that it's possible for those royalties just to keep coming. For example, I had a track placed in a feature film 10 years ago, and I still see royalties for it every quarter. They're not huge, but over time, they add up. And the more music you have out there, the more it adds up. Another benefit that I've noticed from doing this is that it's helped me sharpen both my writing and producing chops. And I've gotten a whole lot faster coming up with ideas and finishing tracks. And it's helped me expand my musical vocabulary by exploring and experimenting with different types of music. So now it's your turn to get out there and start researching, writing, submitting, placing, and earning. I really hope this has been helpful and inspires you to get started. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks.